Blackwater founder Erik Prince took to the airwaves this weekend in a public relations blitz to try to counter the firm's image as trigger-happy cowboys who shed innocent Iraqi blood. This traffic circle in Baghdad became a giant crime scene investigation after the Blackwater shooting on September 16th. Up to 17 Iraqis were killed in a prolonged bout of gunfire, some reportedly trying to flee the scene. In an interview on 60 Minutes, Erik Prince says he welcomes an FBI investigation into the incident and has evidence his men were fired on by insurgents.
3 of our fully armored State Department trucks had bullet pockmarks in them, and one of them was even disabled from the enemy small arms fire.
Blackwater has become notorious for its 1,000-man private army in Iraq, a tough but efficient force that protects American officials on deadly roads. But this time, the Iraqi government claims Blackwater crossed the line in what it claims was an unprovoked attack on civilians, tantamount to murder. Some Iraqi police officers and civilians who witnessed the shooting told NBC News they saw no one firing at Blackwater at all. Even some U.S. military officers have said they believe innocent Iraqis were killed and the shooting was excessive. A former employee of a Blackwater affiliate says some Blackwater operators were highly professional, but others were loose cannons who placed little value on Iraqi lives.
It's just troubling when a group of Americans who are supposedly there to help in the rebuilding of a country consider those people to be less than they are, less human than they are.
Mark Corey spent 6 months in Iraq.
So the attitude was that they were the enemy. It's us and them.
A Blackwater official calls him a disgruntled former employee.
Lock and load, 6 rounds.
At stake for Blackwater, hundreds of millions of dollars a year in federal contracts. Prince refused even to tell Congress how much Blackwater profits from its government work.
We're a private company, and there's a key word there, private.
But those contracts are now in peril as the State Department and the Iraqis try to sort out the future of the company and of private military contractors in Iraq. No matter how effective Blackwater's PR offensive is in America, it may not help on the streets of Baghdad. Iraqis are demanding that Blackwater be expelled from Iraq within 6 months. Matt?
All right, Lisa, thanks very much. Lisa Myers in Washington for us this morning. Erik Prince is the founder and CEO of Blackwater. Mr. Prince, good morning to you.
Morning, thank you.
Nice to have you here in Chicago. It hasn't been a good week for your company. You've got an FBI investigation. Your employees have been called mercenaries, a word I know you hate. You've got the Iraqi government saying to the U.S. government, sever all ties with this company within 6 months. What are your options?
Our guys continue to do their jobs every day. I think it's important to put context around any September 16 incident. The guys have done 16,500 PSD, personal security detail missions in the last 3 years. Less than 1% of those has resulted in any gunfire in the most dangerous city in the world. So I think the guys continue to do a great job.
Here's what Representative Elijah Cummings said. He said, Blackwater appears to have fostered a culture of shoot first and sometimes kill, then ask the questions. You've said this is a difficult job and not a lot of people are capable of performing it, but more and more people seem to be saying, Mr. Prince, at what price are you doing this job? And I don't mean financial, I mean the cost of human lives.
Well, it's not just Iraqi lives in question. We've lost 27 Americans in this mission, and our rules are dictated to us by the U.S. government customer we work for. We take America's sons and daughters, proven military veterans that have 8, 12, 20+ years of experience. We give them clear rules of engagement, and they turn them over to operational control of the U.S. government. So we do the recruiting, vetting, hiring, and we turn them over, and they do the work of the U.S. government.
You talk about the rules, and the rules of engagement are laid out for you, and yet there is this image of your employees in Iraq that they are gunslingers, that they answer to nobody, that they're a paramilitary force. There was an incident quoted in Newsweek magazine where one of your employees was moving into the green zone where you're required to lock and safety your weapon and clear the ammunition. When he was told to do that, according to Newsweek, he wiggled his finger on the trigger and said, "This is my safety." The attitude being one of, we're blanking security, we don't answer to anyone.
I can speak to that incident in particular because that colonel clearly mistook our person for someone else, because the pistols that our guys carry are Glocks. They have no external safeties. He was probably referring to one of the many Army Corps of Engineers contractors that exist in the country. There's 170+ security companies in Iraq. We get painted with a very broad brush. We do the most high-profile missions protecting the high-profile targets, the ones that the bad guys want to kill the most, and put it on camera. And, you know, on a weekly basis, we get called, Blackwater guys have been killed here, others have been taken hostage there. When we investigate, they're not within 100 miles. We track the vehicles via a satellite tracking device, so we know where the guys
so you
are.
have tight controls over your employees.
Absolutely.
In 2000, you had a contract in Iraq worth some $204,000. In 2000,
not in Iraq, here in the United States.
Okay. In 2006, the contracts you had, I think, are estimated about $600 million.
That's way high. But
what would be the accurate term?
A few hundred million.
Okay. It seems, though, that we have a company that has grown very quickly, and a lot of people wonder if it's grown too fast and if quality control in terms of the hiring of these employees has gone out the window. How would you respond to that?
I would say our recruiting, vetting, our corporate procedures have gotten much better and even tighter over these last few years. The men that we have to send over have criminal background checks. They resume requirements, 8 to 12 years minimum. Typically, many of them are retired military. Psychological evaluation, medical evaluation, all those tests.
What happens if your company and others like your company are forced to leave Iraq? What's the situation going to be that you leave behind?
I believe it'd be harder for the reconstruction mission to continue because those people that are out there meeting with the water experts and the power line experts and the city sewer, all those civic kind of reconstruction programs can't get to those meetings, can't be meeting with their Iraqi counterparts.
Erik Prince, the founder and CEO of Blackwater. Mr. Prince, I appreciate you coming here this morning.
Thanks for having me, sir.